Thank you for joining me as we look at the current crisis rocking the Cameroonians and solutions. If you are seeing me for the first time, fate has brought us together. Like, share, subscribe, and follow for more. Type in the comment, Africa #1. Here's a clear, well-organized analysis of Cameroon's 2025 elections, the current political crises, and their impacts or imparts on the country's stability, economy, and society. Cameroon elections and the current crisis, impacts and implications. 1. Background: the 2025 presidential election. Cameroon's 2025 presidential election is one of the most contentious moments in the nation's modern history. President Paul Biya, in power since 1982, is seeking an 8th term at the age of 92. Opposition parties, including the MRC, Movement for the Renaissance of Cameroon, and SDF, Social Democratic Front, are demanding reforms, fair elections, and respect for term limits. The elections are taking place amid deep security, social, and economic crises, making them a true test of national unity. 2. Current political crises in Cameroon. Cameroon faces 3 overlapping crises that directly affect its politics and governance. A. The Anglophone crisis originated in 2016 when lawyers and teachers protested marginalization in English-speaking regions. Escalated into a full-blown separatist war, with militants demanding an independent state called Ambazonia. Over 6,000 people have died, and more than 800,000 displaced. UNHCR 2025. Insecurity in the northwest and southwest regions disrupts voting and government control. B. Governance and election legitimacy crisis. Critics say the electoral system favors the ruling party, CPDM. Opposition figures face arrests, intimidation, and restricted campaigning. Civil society groups report low trust in electoral institutions, including Elections Cameroon, ELICAM. Citizens fear the elections could trigger post-vote violence or protests. C. Boko Haram and regional insecurity. In the far north, Boko Haram and Islamic State West Africa province ISWAP continue attacks. The region faces poverty, displacement, and fear, weakening voter turnout and state authority. 3. The interconnection between elections and crisis. The Anglophone war undermines national elections. Many areas cannot safely hold polls. The centralization of power around the presidency fuels resentment, especially in marginalized regions. Opposition repression deepens polarization, with some groups calling for boycotts instead of ballots. The youth population, frustrated by unemployment and poor governance, increasingly loses faith in political processes. 4. Impacts of the crisis and election tensions. A. Political impacts: erosion of national unity. The Anglophone population feels excluded from decision-making. Democratic backsliding. Repression of dissent and restricted freedoms harm democratic image. Potential instability. Disputed results could spark protests or violence, especially in major cities. B. Economic impacts. Conflicts in key regions reduce agricultural output, cocoa, coffee, and foreign investment. The cost of war, displacement, and military operations diverts funds from development. Investor confidence is falling as Cameroon faces security and governance risks. Infrastructure projects in conflict zones remain stalled. See social and humanitarian impacts. Over 2 million people are in need of humanitarian aid, UNOCHA 2025. Education disrupted. Thousands of schools closed in Anglophone regions due to insecurity. Migration and brain drain. Skilled youth migrate to Europe or neighboring countries for safety and jobs. Mistrust between communities, Anglophones, Francophones, and minorities is deepening. D. International impacts. Cameroon's image abroad suffers due to reports of human rights violations. Western nations, the UN, and the AU pressure the government for dialogue and fair elections. Regional instability affects neighboring Nigeria, Chad, and Central African Republic through refugee flows and cross-border insecurity. 5. Possible solutions and recommendations challenge proposed solution, Anglophone crisis, and separatist war launch, inclusive dialogue involving separatist leaders, diaspora, and civil society under neutral mediation, e.g. AU or UN. Election credibility reform, ELICAM, to ensure independence, transparency, and fair campaign conditions for all parties. Governance centralization, implement true decentralization, as promised in the 1996 Constitution and 2019 Special Status Law. Human rights abuses strengthen judicial independence, end arbitrary arrests, and ensure accountability for military and separatist crimes. Youth frustration, invest in education, entrepreneurship, and job creation programs to restore faith in the system. Economic stagnation, prioritize reconstruction of conflict zones, improve infrastructure, and create incentives for investment. 6. Conclusion. Cameroon's 2025 elections occur at a critical crossroads. Money, power, and politics have long intertwined to preserve elite control, but rising youth discontent, separatist war, and economic hardship now threaten the country's stability. Without inclusive dialogue, credible elections, and meaningful reforms, Cameroon risks deeper division and regional instability. However, with strong leadership, regional cooperation, and international support, the nation can still move from crisis to cohesion, honoring its motto, peace, work, fatherland. If you are seeing me for the first time, fate has brought us together. Like, share, subscribe, and follow for more. Type in the comment, Africa #1.